Hey guys, how you doing? You know what? I've got to really give it to the Indian media. They print out biased news just to get their ratings up, and nowadays it doesn't even matter if it's the truth or not. When it comes to the readers, there are idiots who simply read the headline and then pass it on if it's funny, sad, or whatever. The second bunch of idiots are those who read the first few lines of the article and then come to a conclusion. And of course, they share the article if it meets the criteria for sharing. To these bunch of idiots, I say, you fucking dumb cunts. Do not forward shit that you haven't read or understood properly. Anyway, coming to the point, about 2 days back, an article came out with the title that reads, Woman calls hubby Mota Haathi. Delhi High Court says it's enough for divorce. Mota Haathi means fat elephant, of course. And the title itself is misleading, and you'll soon see why. The first bunch of idiots obviously read the title, had a laugh, and shared the article, and the second bunch would have pretty much done the same as well. The media, knowing that there are such fucking bumbling idiots out and about in the world, gave them just what they wanted to see. And here's the first half of the article. Calling your overweight husband Mota Haathi is grounds for divorce, as it is destructive of the matrimonial bond, the Delhi High Court has ruled. The court on March 22nd upheld a divorce granted by a family court in 2012 to a man who said he was subjected to cruelty by his wife for being overweight and his alleged failure to satiate her sexual desires. The woman challenged the order in the High Court. Of course, now she has fucking sexual desires. Otherwise, women don't want sex. They just fucking don't, right? Yeah, fuck you. Anyway, reading on. The calling of names and hurling of abuses such as Mota Haathi and Mota Elephant by the woman in respect of a husband, even if he was overweight, is bound to strike at his self-respect and self-esteem, Justice Vipin Sanghi said. The woman had contended the family court relied on vague and non-specific allegations while granting the divorce. She argued he failed to give specific instances of allegedly cruelty with dates, times, and particulars. The High Court, however, rejected this argument, and rightly so. Now, if anyone read only the headline or up till here and stopped, they would have laughed their asses off and shared this with friends and followers. And then those bunch of idiots would have done the fucking same as well. Of course, you have to read the rest to understand what really happened. It goes on, when two parties are in a marital relationship, blah blah blah. The judge also took note of other complaints by the man that his wife not only slapped him but also asked him to leave the house. Now notice how they make this as other complaints, like the other one, the Mota Haathi one, was the primary complaint and the others were just on the side, like a fucking side dish. The man said his wife threatened to immolate herself with kerosene and implicate him and his family in a dowry case. Now this is the kind of blackmail that usually happens in India. When it comes to a dowry case, the man is actually considered guilty until proven innocent, not just by the media, not by society, by the court. He has to prove himself innocent. He is actually considered guilty until proven innocent. And if that's not a violation of the constitution, I don't know what the fuck is. It goes on. The woman left the matrimonial home with her jewelry and belongings and told the man to transfer his property in her name if he desired her to live a devoted wife, the man alleged. Are you fucking kidding me? After doing all this shit, she wanted to live as a devoted fucking wife? Oh, fuck off. At least the guy knew he was in shit and filed for divorce. It reads on. Such events are clearly destructive of the matrimonial bond and would naturally give rise to a bona fide and genuine belief and apprehension in the mind of the respondent, that's the husband, that it is not safe for him to peacefully and mentally continue the relationship, the High Court said. The man also said on the night of February 11, 2005, she hit his private parts when he wanted to have intercourse and injured him. Each of these incidents are grave and weighty matrimonial offences or misconduct by the appellant, the woman, which cannot be described as events relating to normal wear and tear of a marriage, the judge said. BBC, the UK-based media, caught on to this and did their own story, and this is what they wrote. The title read, India Court says Fat Elephant Taunt grounds for divorce. Again, fucking misleading title. But of course, for their article, this title is actually not misleading because they don't really write any other shit. All they did was, they stated he said his wife regularly humiliated him for being overweight and incapable of satisfying her sexual desires. They also wrote about the Mota Haathi and fat elephant part. And that's it. Then they go on to say, obviously the respondent was sensitive to such taunts, and it is not the appellant's case that the taunts were made jokingly or out of love and affection and without malice. The woman had said her husband's allegations were vague and non-specific, but the court rejected her argument. Now that's actually all they wrote. Nothing about the blackmail, nothing about the mental or physical torture. Now, from this article, if anybody did read it, the guy seems like a fucking fat loser who can't get it up and just wants to leave his wife because his feelings got hurt. And of course, other newspapers did the same story, stating that all the wife did was call him a fat elephant and he got divorced for that. Now, what this tells the rest of the world is that men have all the power and women have absolutely no voice in this country. What this says is that a man can do what he wants, say what he wants, and the court will believe him without any evidence, and that the women just have to sit there quietly and they can't do shit. Now, I found the court judgment PDF through an MRA on Twitter. I've provided the link to the PDF in the description. You can have a read if you want to. Now, I went through that shit, and I'm going to just point out the highlights. Now, he sought divorce under cruelty, and the acts of cruelty that he filed were as follows. Giving repeated threats to commit suicide and even trying to commit suicide. On one occasion, the appellant brought one filled kerosene can and opened its lid, but the respondent and neighbors stopped her from doing so. B. Forcibly pushed the penis and testicles of the respondent, due to which the respondent received injuries and swelling on his private parts. Pretty much, he had swelling on his balls and his fucking dick. Repeatedly slapping the respondent on various occasions. Taunting the respondent that he is nothing and he can do nothing and also he cannot satisfy her. E. Never allowing the respondent to meet with the minor child. F. Insulting and misbehaving with the respondent and his family members. G. Leaving the matrimonial home without informing the respondent and on asking, abusing and quarreling with the respondent. H. Always quarreling with the respondent and abusing him. I. Refusal to have sex with the respondent. J. Forcing the respondent for the transfer of his property in her name. Now, those are the complaints that he filed. There were quite a few. And what did they focus on? They focused on the taunt, the Mota Haathi taunt, and the others pretty much invisible. In his final judgment, this is what the judge said. It is common record that the wife taunted the husband for not being able to satiate her sexual desire on account of his being heavyweight. It is also common record that on 28/6/2006, the wife not only slapped the husband but also asked him to leave the house. She also caught hold of kerosene can and opened its lid, threatening the husband that she would immolate herself and implicate the husband and his family in a dowry case. The husband also established that he reported this incident to his in-laws, but only his brother-in-law Rahul came on 29/6/2006 at about 12:30 p.m. and advised the husband to transfer his property in favor of the wife to secure peace. She left the matrimonial home on 5/7/2006 with her jewelry and belongings and gave an ultimatum to the husband that he should transfer his property in her name if he desired that she lives like a devoted wife. The incident of 31/10/2006, when the parents and other people from Ghaziabad came and fought with the husband, abused him, and even assaulted him, is also a serious incident, and each of these aforesaid incidents are grave and weighty matrimonial offences, misconducts by the wife, which cannot be described as events relating to normal wear and tear of a marriage. Such events are clearly destructive of the matrimonial bond and would naturally give rise to a bona fide and genuine belief and apprehension of the mind of the husband that it is not safe for him to peacefully and mentally continue the relationship with the wife. Pertinently, it has not even been urged by Mr. Mehta that if the allegations made against the wife are accepted as established, the same would not constitute mental cruelty in law. For all the aforesaid reasons, I am of the view that there is no merit in the present appeal, and the same is accordingly dismissed, leaving the parties to bear their respective costs. This is what actually happened. And did the papers even look at the fact? No fucking way. All they did was make fun of a guy who was abused and tortured by his wife. He was blackmailed, physically tortured, mentally tortured. And after all this, what he got was a divorce. The court clearly stated that it was cruelty, but with no law to punish the woman, she gets to walk free, doesn't she? He could not punish her in any kind of way because, well, in India, according to the law at least, men cannot be domestically assaulted, and so there is no law to protect them. Actually, not to protect them, but to punish the perpetrators. Now, most of the cases of abuse by the wife never ever makes it to the mainstream media. Even when such cases breaks through the cracks and get some sort of coverage, it's a joke. You know, something to laugh at, because you know what? Men facing violence is funny. How do you expect men to come out and report abuse when this is what happens? Remember, this case went global. But only one part, the part about her calling him a fat elephant. Even if this part, only this part, calling the man a fat elephant, was gender reversed. If it was the woman being called a fat elephant, could you even think of the shit that would hit the fan? Feminists would be coming out of the woodwork claiming this was domestic violence, as it was an insult to her body and her character. That all women are beautiful, no matter their size or shape. Oh, fuck you. Till next time, guys. Cheers.